What's up, y'all? That is a great tune called the High Reel, also called Duffy the Dancer. I assume the high reel because it starts off way up high, so keep that in mind as we're breaking this tune down. I'm going to switch to the whistle, which gets a little bit shrill in that upper octave, so if you're a fan of the low whistle, the flutes, this might be a good one to mix it up with. This tune is in A Mixolydian, I believe. I've never been very good at the modes, but I think that's what we're going to call this one, at least for the purposes of this lesson. So keep that in mind. We're in the key of A, basically, and we're starting up high in the second octave. So nice and slow. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. That's the whole A part. Hopefully you made it through that okay. Run that a couple of times, make sure you get that nice and locked down before we carry on here. Unlike the vast majority of tunes, the B part in this case is the lower part of the tune, although it has a similar lick at the end, so hopefully we'll be able to copy and paste a little bit. But here we go with the B part again, nice and easy. 2, 3, 4. So hopefully you picked up on the fact that that sort of complicated bit, the one that goes all the way up and all the way back down the scale and bounces its way down, is a repeat. So once you get it, you've got like half the tune. It actually kind of starts a little bit before that. This bit is the part that I'm talking about here. That's exactly the same, both in the A part and the B part. Let's run the whole tune, A-A-B-B, all the way through. Still nice and slow, a little bit quicker, I guess, but still without any of the ornamentation or any of that kind of stuff, just to see how you've got the basic melody, right? The whole thing, nice and easy. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you did okay, got through that. Use that maybe as a little practice tool, I guess, as you get the melody more and more locked down. See if you can just kind of get that to match up pretty well, and then we'll dive in with some of the fun stuff. This is a video that I've also got a deep dive on over on my Patreon if you're interested in some of the more advanced stuff, but here's a couple of things at least we can start with here, give you a little bit of groove to this tune, maybe a little bit of punch. So when we're jumping up to that high octave A to start the tune, I've mentioned this term 1,000 times, highest note in the phrase, we're kind of starting right off with that straight off the bat. That being said, going straight into that A is a bit of a gamble because it can break. It's a tricky note to get to without hitting anything before that. The advantage of a slide into that note before, which is what we're going to do, is that it makes that jump a little bit easier, and the G below it's a little easier to hit. So if you can kind of start with that, aka sliding into the A from the top, makes you a little bit more confident, I would think. So here we go. See, that slide just kind of gives you a little bit of a boost. And then we finish the phrase with a nice simple roll there. couple of rolls on the A as well. That seems to be, that note just pops up a lot, so I kind of use that expression, I guess, a fair few times. Just punches up that note a little bit. Otherwise, I'm really not doing anything else on that arpeggio thing. You know, the roll there, but otherwise those other notes are really just tonguing to separate them, giving a little bit of a bounce. Same thing there, except I do have the triplet on the end of the G, but really nothing else ornament-wise to do on those notes, I think, except separate them, give them a bit of tongue for clarity. And then we have that more than an octave jump. You're going from the first octave G to the second octave A. So that boost with the slide, I think, really helps in that case. And we can do the same short roll in the G, kind of picking up on a theme there. Could do a triplet there. Now when I'm doing that walk down phrase, because that phrase is about half of the tune, I mentioned that earlier when we were breaking down the basic melody, I want to do something with that, and what I'm doing there is cutting basically every other note as it bounces back up. One more time. And then a short roll. Short roll there to finish that phrase as I did before. That's one that I'll copy and paste the second time too. I kind of sort of make that the theme of this tune because it's such a big chunk of it. Then we're into the B part and we've got that arpeggio straight away. Really not doing anything there either except some short rolls. Otherwise it's just separation. It's a good exercise to practice, really. Getting those nice and clean, it's a good habit to get into, I think, because it's useful in a lot of situations. Wouldn't always do it, but sometimes it comes in handy. Like this, I would say. And then if you're going for that short roll and that high A, that's one where you're going to have a bit of confidence. Yeah, it's a full octave jump. You're going from the first octave A to the second octave A, and we're doing a short roll, which means we're doing a cut before that. So hit it cleanly. Now really, you're going to have to really... That's also a good exercise to practice if you want to use that technique. Make sure there's nobody around you who you're going to drive crazy. Maybe run that phrase a couple of times. See if you can get that nice and clean. If you want to try that, working that in. Otherwise, you could just do a slide. Nothing wrong with that. Really nice sound also. You can kind of punch those notes a little bit, depending on your whistle. Not all of them will respond that way, I guess. Do a bit of a diaphragm push, almost like you would on the flute. It might have a little bit of room to play with there. Kind of another way to take that is you have a nice little pause. Might be a cool way to end that tune, in fact, sort of a way to signify that we're wrapping it up. So keep that one in your back pocket maybe. Let me know what you think of this tune. Again, if you want to deep dive it, we've got that available over on the Patreon. Check me out over there. Let me know what y'all think. If there's any other tunes you want me to take a look at, I'll be happy to. See y'all in the next one. Cheers.